There is a phrase that has followed you. Maybe someone said it to you when you were young, in a moment that felt different from the ordinary moments around it. Maybe you read it somewhere, and something in you went quiet in a way that ordinary sentences don't make you go quiet. Maybe you've thought it about yourself in the private hours, the ones you don't describe to other people, when the feeling of your own life felt too large and too specific to be accidental. The phrase is this: you are chosen. And here is where most people stop. Here is the surface. Here is the thin layer that gets stretched across something enormous and then sold back to you as the whole picture. The surface version of this idea is a story about specialness, about destiny, about being selected from the crowd by some external force that looked down at the mass of human lives and pointed at yours. The surface version is flattering. It feels good, and it is, in the most precise sense of the word, a veil. Because beneath the idea of being chosen, beneath the entire architecture of that phrase and everything it carries, there is a layer that most people never reach. And that layer does not flatter you. It does not comfort you in the way a selection myth comforts you. What it does is something far more disorienting and far more real. It cracks the structure of the reality you have been living inside of open, not like a door being opened, but like a seam giving way, like something that was held together by agreement, suddenly losing the agreement. That is what we are here to do today. We are going to take the idea of being chosen, the one you think you understand, and we are going to dig beneath it, layer by layer, until what you find at the bottom is not a story about you at all. It is a story about the nature of reality itself, about what quantum mechanics found beneath the surface of matter, about what every serious mystical tradition in human history was pointing at, when they used words like election and calling and the anointed, and about why the moment you understand what is actually beneath this phrase, you cannot go back to living at the surface of your own life. Let's begin at the surface. Let's be precise about what we're dismantling before we dismantle it. The surface version of chosen has a specific structure. It requires a chooser and a chosen. It requires an external agent, something outside of you, something with will and preference and the capacity for selection, who surveys the available options and selects you. This structure is so embedded in the way the phrase works that most people never notice it is a structure at all. They take it as simply the shape of reality. Someone or something chooses. You are either chosen or you are not. And the evidence for whether you have been chosen is your life, your circumstances, your outcomes, the degree to which things seem to work out or not work out, the presence or absence of what you would call grace. This is the surface. And this surface has consequences. The person living at this surface level of the idea is perpetually in a state of audition. They are always, in some layer of their awareness, performing for the chooser, trying to be worthy of selection, interpreting their suffering as evidence of rejection and their success as evidence of favor. Their relationship with reality is fundamentally one of supplication. They are below the thing that chooses. They are subject to it. And notice what this structure does to time. The person living from the surface version of chosen is always reading their past for evidence of selection and scanning their future for confirmation of it. Every good thing that happened becomes proof of favor. every difficult thing becomes evidence of withdrawal. The present moment, the actual moment of living, becomes almost irrelevant except as a data point in the ongoing calculation of whether the selection is still in effect. The present is just another piece of evidence to be weighed. It is never the place where the real work is occurring, because in the surface version of this story, the real work was done by the chooser, somewhere outside of time, and you are simply living out the consequences of that external decision. This is the trap embedded in the surface story. Not just the exhaustion of audition, but the loss of the present as a site of contact. The surface story relocates the mechanism of your life to somewhere outside of it, to an external agent making decisions you cannot access, and leaves you as a passive recipient of those decisions, reading the surface of events for signs of favor or withdrawal. Now, let's go beneath that. If this is the surface of what chosen means, here is something I want to offer before we go further.
Have you spent years trying every surface fix, therapy, mindset work, manifestation, habit redesign, and the same patterns keep coming back in different clothes? Every one of those tools is working on belief and behavior. The actual pattern was installed deeper than any of them can reach. Beneath the veil, a quantum map of reality's hidden layers walks through the full 5-layer descent, the surface reality you were handed, the layer where the pattern was actually installed, the physics underneath that, the ancient traditions that mapped the same thing thousands of years ago, and what you actually are at the bottom of all of it. This is the layer that therapy, mindset work, and manifestation could never reach. The longer you keep working the surface, the longer that deeper layer keeps generating the same life. So do this one tonight. It's waiting in the pinned comment below.
Now, let's go to the layer beneath the chosen narrative that quantum mechanics opened. There is a specific moment in the history of physics that should have cracked the surface of the chosen narrative open permanently. It happened across several decades of the 20th century, and it accumulated into what we now call quantum mechanics. But the specific piece I want to show you is not the general field. It is one precise, documented, repeatedly confirmed experimental result that, if you follow it all the way down, says something extraordinary about the relationship between observer and reality. The double-slit experiment. You may have heard of it, but I want to go beneath the version you've heard, because the version most people stop at is still a surface. Here is the surface version. When you observe a quantum particle, it behaves differently than when you don't observe it. Particles fired through two slits create an interference pattern, the pattern of a wave, when no one is watching. When a detector is placed to observe which slit the particle passes through, the interference pattern disappears. The particle behaves like a particle, not a wave. Observation collapses the wave function. That's the surface. That's the version that gets quoted in motivational content and then left there. But here is what lies beneath it, and this is where it gets precise. The wave function, before observation, is not a description of where the particle probably is. That's a common misread. The wave function is a description of where the particle actually is, and where it actually is everywhere it could be, simultaneously, in superposition. The particle does not have a definite location. It has a probability amplitude, which is a real physical quantity, not a metaphor for our ignorance. The particle is genuinely in multiple states at once, This is not a limitation of our measurement instruments. This is the actual behavior of matter at its foundational level. And then something happens. An interaction occurs, what physicists call measurement, what we might call contact with a system that is itself in a definite state. And in that interaction, the superposition resolves. One possibility becomes actual. The others, in the standard interpretation, cease to be relevant to this branch of events. Now stay with this for a moment, because this is the layer beneath the surface, and it changes everything about the chosen narrative. What quantum mechanics is telling you is that at the level of reality beneath the solid, fixed, definite world you walk through every day, there is no fixed, definite world. There is a field of possibility. There is superposition. There is a state in which multiple outcomes coexist as real physical states until the moment of interaction, of observation, of contact. The definite world, the world of chosen and not chosen, selected and passed over, graced and ungraced. That world is not the foundation, it is the surface. It is what happens when possibility meets a particular observer in a particular state. The layer beneath the chosen narrative is a field that has not yet chosen, a field that contains every version, a field in which the selection has not yet occurred, not because it is waiting to occur, but because at this level of reality, the binary of selected and not selected does not yet exist as a fixed fact. This is not a metaphor. This is what physicists found beneath matter. And it should have changed the entire human conversation about destiny, about selection, about what it means to be chosen. There is something else happening in the double-slit experiment that most explanations skip past, and it belongs here because it deepens the layer we are standing on. When physicists say the particle is in superposition, they do not mean it is in two places and we simply don't know which one. The mathematics of quantum mechanics, specifically the interference pattern that appears when no measurement is made, proves that the particle is genuinely in both states simultaneously. The interference pattern is produced by the particle interfering with itself across both paths. That cannot happen if the particle is secretly in one definite location that we just haven't looked at yet. The interference is physical evidence that the superposition is real. Not a description of our ignorance, but a description of what is actually occurring in nature. This means the definite, fixed world you inhabit is not the bedrock of reality. The bedrock of reality is a state in which the definite has not yet formed. The solid is downstream from the possible. The fixed is downstream from the open. And the mechanism that moves reality from the open to the fixed, from superposition to actuality, from possibility to the specific, is contact with an observing system. You are an observing system. Your awareness is a contact event. Every moment of genuine perception is, in the most literal physical sense available to us, a participation in the process by which the possible becomes the actual. This is not a spiritual claim layered on top of the physics. This is what the physics is pointing at when you follow it beneath the surface version. If this is reaching something in you, if you can feel the surface beginning to thin, like and subscribe so we can keep going deeper together. But there's a layer beneath that. Because the question that quantum mechanics opens but does not fully answer is this: what is the observer? What is the thing that interacts with the superposition and resolves it into a definite state? And this is where the physics becomes genuinely strange, genuinely contested, and genuinely important for what we're uncovering today. The measurement problem, which is the name physicists give to the unresolved question of how and why the wave function collapses, has never been definitively solved. There are interpretations. The Copenhagen interpretation says the wave function collapses upon measurement, but is deliberately silent about what constitutes a measurement and why. The many worlds interpretation says the wave function never collapses at all, that every possible outcome occurs in a branching of reality, and what we experience as collapse is simply our branch diverging from others. Pilot wave theory says there are hidden variables beneath the quantum level that determine outcomes, restoring a kind of determinism beneath the apparent randomness. But there is another interpretation, one that mainstream physics finds uncomfortable precisely because it is too strange, too close to something that sounds like the ancient maps. It is called the consciousness causes collapse interpretation, associated with physicists, including John von Neumann and later Eugene Wigner. And what it says is this: the collapse of the wave function requires a conscious observer, not just a detector, not just a physical interaction, a conscious system. Awareness itself as the thing that resolves superposition into actuality. Now, I am not telling you this is the correct interpretation of quantum mechanics. The physicists themselves do not agree on which interpretation is correct, and intellectual honesty requires saying that clearly. But I am telling you that this interpretation is scientifically serious, has been advanced by serious physicists, and points towards something that the ancient traditions were mapping from a completely different direction, thousands of years before the double-slit experiment was designed. And that is the layer we need to go to next. Because if you take the consciousness causes collapse interpretation seriously, even as a possibility, even as one of the live options on the table, then the phrase "you are chosen" undergoes a fundamental transformation. The chooser is not external. The chooser is the observing awareness itself. And the chosen is not a fixed identity selected from outside. The chosen is the state that awareness, in contact with the field of possibility, resolves into actuality. You are not chosen by something outside of you. You are the choosing. You are the collapse of infinite possibility into this specific life, this specific moment, this specific version of reality. And the veil between you and that understanding is the belief that you are the object of selection rather than the agent of resolution. Let's go to the ancient layer now, because this is not new. In the Kabbalistic tradition of Jewish mysticism, there is a concept called Bechira, which translates roughly as free choice, but which, when you go beneath the surface translation, means something far more precise and far more strange. Bechira, in the Kabbalistic framework, is not simply the freedom to choose between options. It is the ontological capacity of a conscious being to participate in the actualization of reality. The tradition holds that the universe was created in a state of concealment, what is called Tzimtzum, a contraction of the infinite divine light, to create a space in which finite, particular reality could exist. And within that contracted space, conscious beings have a specific function. They are not passive recipients of a predetermined reality. They are active participants in the continuous process of reality's specification from the infinite to the finite. The Kabbalistic tradition uses the word Bechira in a context that maps almost precisely onto what quantum mechanics calls the collapse of the wave function. The infinite possibility contracts to create space for the particular. The particular is resolved through the interaction of conscious awareness with the field of possibility. The human being is not the object of divine selection. The human being is the instrument through which the infinite becomes specific. What makes this mapping precise rather than merely poetic is the directionality. In both the Kabbalistic framework and the quantum mechanical framework, the movement is from the undifferentiated to the particular, from the infinite to the specific, from the open field to the resolved actuality. And in both frameworks, that movement requires a contact event. In quantum mechanics, the contact event is measurement, the interaction of the quantum system with an observing system. In Kabbalah, the contact event is Bechira, the engagement of conscious will with the field of possibility. The language is different. The structure is identical. This is the hidden layer beneath the chosen narrative in one of the oldest mystical traditions in the world. And the physicists found the same layer with their instruments in the 20th century. But there is another tradition I want to show you because the convergence is not accidental, and the more traditions we find mapping the same hidden layer, the more confident we can be that what they were pointing at was real. In the Vedantic tradition of India, specifically in the non-dual school called Advaita Vedanta, there is a teaching about what is called the witness or Sakshi. The Sakshi is the pure awareness that underlies all experience. It is not a person. It is not an individual self. It is the capacity for experience itself prior to the content of experience. And the teaching holds that what most people call their identity, the chosen or unchosen self, the self with a history and a destiny, is not the Sakshi. It is what the Sakshi is witnessing. The self you think you are is a content of awareness, not the awareness itself. Now here is where the Vedantic layer intersects with the quantum layer in a way that should stop you. If the Sakshi, the witnessing awareness, is prior to the content of experience, and if the content of experience, including the experience of being a specific person with a specific destiny, arises within that awareness, then the question of who is chosen becomes the wrong question. The right question is, what is the awareness within which the chosen and the unchosen arise? And the Vedantic answer is that this awareness is not personal. It is not individual. It is the field itself, looking at itself through the aperture of a particular human life. You are not chosen by the field. You are the field, choosing to know itself through this particular form. The Vedantic tradition is precise about what this means experientially, and this precision matters because it prevents the teaching from becoming a comfortable abstraction. The Sakshi is not something you become by believing in it. It is what you already are, prior to any belief. The practice of Advaita is not the construction of a new identity as the witnessing awareness. It is the systematic dismantling of the mistaken identification with the contents of awareness, the thoughts, the emotions, the history, the destiny narrative, until what remains is the awareness that was always already there before any of those contents appeared. The chosen self, in this framework, is a content. The awareness within which the chosen self appears is the Sakshi, and the Sakshi is not chosen or unchosen. It is the field within which that distinction arises. Let that settle for a moment, because this is the layer that changes everything about how you understand the phrase we started with. And we are not done going deeper. What hidden layer have you already touched? Drop it in the comments. A moment when the surface story of your life became transparent, when you sensed something beneath it that the surface couldn't account for. What did that contact feel like? Let me show you something through a story. There was a woman named Mira who lived in a city built on layers. Not metaphorically, literally. The city she inhabited had been built on top of an older city, which had been built on top of an older city still, going down in layers through centuries of human habitation. The streets she walked were the top surface of something that went down for hundreds of feet, layer after layer of lives and structures and meanings that the current city had been built over and had, in the process, forgotten. Mira worked in the archives. Her job was to maintain the surface records, the official documents, the registered histories, the things that the city formally acknowledged as real. She was good at this work. She was thorough. She knew the surface better than almost anyone. But there was a problem. The surface records kept producing anomalies. Things that should have been consistent were not consistent. Dates that should have aligned did not align. Names that appeared in one record did not appear in the records that should have referenced them. Small discrepancies, the kind that most archivists smoothed over or attributed to clerical error, but which Mira could not stop noticing. One day, a colleague named Dov showed her a door in the basement of the archive building. Not a hidden door, not a secret passage, just a door that no one used because the staircase behind it led down to a level of the building that had been officially decommissioned. Dov had been going down there for years. He had been reading the older records, the ones that predated the current city, the ones that the official archive did not acknowledge because they predated the official archive itself. Mira went down. What she found was not a different version of the history she knew. It was the mechanism beneath the history she knew. The surface records, the ones she had spent her career maintaining, were not wrong exactly. They were accurate descriptions of what was visible from the surface, but they had been generated by processes that the surface records did not acknowledge and could not see. The anomalies she had been noticing were not errors. They were places where the deeper layer was pressing up against the surface, where the mechanism beneath was producing effects that the surface level description could not account for. Mira spent the next several years doing something that her colleagues found strange. She did not stop maintaining the surface records. She became, if anything, more precise about them, but she maintained them differently now. she maintained them with the knowledge of what was beneath them, and this changed not what she recorded, but the relationship she had with what she recorded. She stopped treating the surface as the truth, and started treating it as the outermost expression of a truth that went much deeper. And here is the piece that matters for what we're uncovering today. When Mira went back through the anomalies with the knowledge of the deeper layer, she found that every single one of them was a place where someone in the city's history had made a choice that the surface records described as arbitrary or accidental, but which the deeper records revealed as a moment of contact between the surface level of events and the deeper mechanism beneath. The anomalies were not errors. They were the fingerprints of consciousness interacting with the layer beneath the surface and producing effects that the surface level description could not explain. The chosen moments in the city's history, the moments that the official records marked as turning points, as significant as the hinge events around which everything else organized, were not the moments that had been selected by some external force. They were the moments when someone had gone deep enough to make contact with the layer beneath the surface, and, in that contact, had resolved possibility into actuality in a way that left a mark on everything that followed. You have had those moments. You know the ones I mean. The moments that feel different from the ordinary moments. The moments that seem to carry more weight than their visible content would justify. The moments that, when you look back at your life, seem to be the ones that everything else organized around. Those moments are not the moments when something outside of you selected you. Those moments are the moments when you went deep enough, consciously or unconsciously, to make contact with the layer beneath the surface of events, and in that contact, resolved a field of possibility into a specific, actual, irreversible reality. That is what chosen means beneath the surface. Not selection. Contact. Not being picked. Going deep. Now let's go to the quantum layer one more time, because there is a specific piece of physics that I haven't shown you yet, and it belongs here. In 1964, a physicist named John Bell derived what is now called Bell's theorem. It is one of the most important results in the history of physics, and it is almost never explained in a way that reaches what it actually says beneath the surface. The surface version of Bell's theorem goes something like this. Quantum entanglement is real, and measuring one particle of an entangled pair instantaneously affects its partner, regardless of the distance between them. That's the surface. That's the version that gets used to make vague claims about interconnection and oneness. But let's go beneath it. What Bell's theorem actually proves, and what the subsequent experimental tests, including the landmark experiments by Alain Aspect in the 1980s and the more recent loophole-free tests, actually confirmed, is something more precise and more radical. Bell's theorem proves that no theory of local hidden variables can reproduce the predictions of quantum mechanics. What this means is that if quantum mechanics is correct, then the universe cannot be described by a model in which every particle has definite properties that are locally determined. The correlations between entangled particles are too strong to be explained by any pre-existing, locally carried information. The universe is non-local, not as a metaphor, as a demonstrated, experimentally confirmed physical fact. The behavior of one part of reality is correlated with the behavior of another part of reality in a way that cannot be explained by any signal traveling between them, by any locally carried information, by any mechanism that respects the separateness of the two parts. Reality, at its foundational level, is not made of separate things that interact. It is made of a non-local whole that appears, from the surface, to be made of separate things. Now bring this to the chosen narrative. If you are a separate thing, an individual self, looking up at a universe that is also made of separate things, including a separate divine agency that makes selections, then the chosen narrative makes a certain kind of sense. It is the surface-level story that a surface-level understanding of reality would generate. Separate beings, one of which has the power to select, others of which are subject to selection. But if you are not a separate thing, if you are a local expression of a non-local whole, if the apparent boundary between you and the rest of reality is precisely that, an appearance, a surface, then the chosen narrative is revealed as a surface story about a surface self. And beneath it is something that the surface story was never able to contain. You are not chosen by the universe. You are the universe, in the specific configuration of this awareness, in this moment, choosing to know itself through this particular depth of contact with its own nature. And the degree to which you experience yourself as chosen, as graced, as in alignment with something larger than your surface self, is precisely the degree to which you have gone beneath the surface self, to the layer where the separation between you and the whole is revealed as the surface story it always was. This is the hidden layer of reality that the title promised you. And we are not done, because there is a specific mechanism here, a specific practice, a specific way of working with what we've uncovered, and I want to be precise about it. Most teachings about being chosen, about destiny, about alignment with something larger, operate at the surface level. They tell you to believe harder, to affirm more confidently, to act as if you are chosen, to embody the identity of someone who has been selected. And there is something in this that is not wrong exactly, but it is working at the surface. It is trying to produce a surface-level change, a change in your beliefs, your behaviors, your self-concept, without going to the layer where the real mechanism operates. The layer where the real mechanism operates is the layer of contact, not belief. Contact. Here is what I mean by contact, and here is where we need to go very precise, because this is the layer most people never reach. In quantum mechanics, the wave function does not collapse because someone believes it will collapse. It collapses because an interaction occurs, a physical contact between the quantum system and a measuring system. The collapse is not a matter of intention or belief or desire. It is a matter of actual interaction, actual contact between the observing system and the observed system. The ancient traditions understood this. The Kabbalistic tradition does not say that you resolve the infinite into the particular by wanting it hard enough. It says you resolve it through action, through what is called in Hebrew avodah, which means work or service, the actual engagement of your specific capacities with the specific situation in front of you. The Vedantic tradition does not say You realize your identity with the witnessing awareness by believing in it. It says you realize it through direct inquiry, through the practice of actually turning awareness back on itself, through contact between awareness and its own nature. The mechanism is contact, not belief, not affirmation, not the performance of chosenness, actual contact with the layer beneath the surface. And here is what that contact feels like from the inside, and why you have already experienced it, even if you didn't have a name for it. There are moments in a human life when the surface falls away, not because you worked to make it fall away, not because you believed the right things or performed the right rituals, but because something in the moment created a condition in which the surface level of your experience became temporarily transparent, and you could see through it to the layer beneath. These moments are often described as experiences of flow, or presence, or grace. Athletes describe them. Artists describe them. People in crisis describe them. Moments of extreme beauty, extreme danger, extreme love. The common feature is not the external circumstances. The common feature is at the surface level of self-referential thought, the constant narration of the surface self went quiet, and in that quiet, something else became perceptible. That something else is the layer we have been digging toward. It is not a feeling of specialness. It is a feeling of precision. A feeling that this moment, this specific configuration of circumstances and awareness, is exactly what it needs to be. Not because it was selected by something external, but because the depth of contact in this moment is resolving possibility into actuality in a way that is specific and irreversible and real. That is what chosen feels like from the inside when you've gone beneath the surface version. Not the glow of being picked, the precision of contact. Let's do the practice now, and I want this to be specific, because a generic practice is just another surface. Find something in your immediate environment, something ordinary, something you have looked at so many times that you have stopped actually seeing it. A wall, a window, your own hand, the surface of a table, something that is so thoroughly familiar that your awareness slides over it without making contact. Now look at it again, but this time, instead of looking at the surface, look at what the surface is the outermost layer of. Your hand, if that's what you chose, is the surface of a system of biological processes that you did not design and do not consciously control. Beneath the skin, there are bones and tendons and blood vessels and nerves. Beneath those, there are cells. Beneath the cells, there are molecules. Beneath the molecules, there are atoms. And beneath the atoms, there is what quantum mechanics found. Not solid matter, but a probability field, a wave function, a superposition of states that resolves into the appearance of solidity only in the context of interaction with an observing system. Your hand is not a solid thing. Your hand is a pattern of probability that has been resolved into apparent solidity by the ongoing interaction of awareness with the field of possibility. It is, in the most literal physical sense, a chosen configuration, a specific resolution of what could have been otherwise. And you are the awareness within which that resolution is occurring. Stay with that for a moment, not as a thought, as a perception. Let the surface of what you're looking at become transparent, not literally, not visually, but in the sense of your relationship to it. Let it be what it actually is, which is the outermost layer of something that goes all the way down to a level of reality where the solid and the definite have not yet formed. This is the perception shift, not a belief change, a contact shift, a change in the depth at which your awareness is making contact with what is actually in front of you. When you make this shift, something happens that is difficult to describe from the surface, but immediately recognizable when it occurs. The ordinary thing in front of you does not become less real. It becomes more real. It becomes real in a different way. It becomes real as a specific, irreversible resolution of possibility rather than as a fixed, passive object that exists independently of your awareness of it. And in that shift, your relationship to your own life undergoes the same transformation. Your life is not a fixed thing that was either selected or not selected by something outside of you. Your life is the ongoing resolution of possibility into actuality through the contact of your awareness with the field beneath the surface. Every moment of genuine contact, every moment when you go beneath the surface of your own experience to the layer where possibility is still open, is a moment of creation. Not creation in the sense of manufacturing something from nothing. Creation in the sense of resolving what was genuinely possible into what is actually real. This is the hidden layer of the chosen narrative, and it carries a responsibility that the surface version does not, because if you are the object of selection, your responsibility is to be worthy, to perform the qualities that the selector values, to maintain the surface in a way that justifies the selection. This is the responsibility of the auditioner. It is exhausting, and it is fundamentally oriented toward an external judge. But if you are the agent of resolution, if you are the awareness through which possibility becomes actuality, then your responsibility is something different. It is the responsibility of contact, of depth, of going beneath the surface of your own experience to the layer where the real work of resolution occurs. It is the responsibility of not stopping at the surface explanation, of not accepting the surface version of your own life as the whole truth of it. This is a harder responsibility in some ways. The surface version at least tells you what you need to do. Be good enough, be worthy enough, perform the right qualities. The deeper version does not give you a checklist. It gives you a direction. Go deeper. Make contact. Don't stop at the surface. But it is also a responsibility that is entirely within your capacity to meet, because the depth is always there. The layer beneath the surface is always there. The field of possibility beneath the definite world is always there. What varies is the depth of contact your awareness is making with it in any given moment. And here is something that the ancient traditions knew, and that quantum mechanics is now confirming from a different direction. The depth of contact is not fixed. It is not a trait you either have or don't have. It is a capacity that develops. It is a layer of your own awareness that becomes more accessible the more you practice going there. The Kabbalistic tradition has an entire system, the Sephirot, the 10 attributes through which the infinite becomes the particular, specifically as a map of the layers of contact between human awareness and the field of possibility. The Vedantic tradition has the practice of neti-neti, not this, a systematic dismantling of every surface identity until what remains is the witnessing awareness itself. The Sufi tradition has the concept of fana, the dissolution of the surface self in contact with the divine, which is not the destruction of the self, but the revelation of what the self was always the surface of. These are not metaphors. They are practices. They are specific, developed, tested methods for going beneath the surface of ordinary awareness to the layer where the real mechanism operates. And they all converge on the same hidden layer, the layer where the separation between the observer and the observed, between the chosen and the chooser, between the self and the field, is revealed as a surface story that was never the whole truth. And notice something about the Sufi concept of fana in particular, because it contains a precision that the surface translation usually loses. Fana is sometimes translated as annihilation, as the destruction of the self in the divine. But the Sufi masters who developed this concept were careful about what they meant. What is annihilated in fana is not the particular person. It is the surface-level identification with the particular person as a separate, bounded, isolated entity. What remains after fana, what the tradition calls baka, meaning subsistence or abiding, is the particular person operating from the depth rather than the surface. The specific individual is not erased. The illusion of the individual's absolute separation from the whole is what dissolves. And what is revealed in that dissolution is not a featureless, undifferentiated unity. It is the particular, now understood as a specific expression of the whole, rather than a fragment cut off from it. This is the Sufi map of the same layer that Bell's theorem found in the correlations between entangled particles. The apparent separateness is a surface story. The non-local wholeness is what is actually beneath it. And the human being who has made contact with that layer does not lose their particularity. They discover their particularity as an expression of the whole rather than an exception to it. Is there a pattern in your own life that dissolved the moment you looked directly at it? A truth that was hidden in plain sight until you were finally ready to see it? Leave it in the comments. What you name there may be exactly what someone else has been circling without words. Let me show you one more layer. Because we are close to the deepest one, but we haven't reached it yet. There is a specific problem with the chosen narrative that goes beyond the philosophical. It is a practical problem, and it shows up in the life of anyone who has tried to live from the surface version of this idea. And the problem is this: the surface version of chosen is unstable. It requires constant maintenance. It requires continuous evidence of selection. And because the world, interpreted from the surface level, produces both evidence of selection and evidence of rejection in roughly equal measure, The person living from the surface version of this idea is perpetually oscillating between the conviction that they are chosen and the fear that they are not. You know this oscillation. You may be living it right now. The moments when everything seems to be working, when circumstances align, when you feel the current of something larger moving through your life, and you interpret this as confirmation of your selection. And the moments when things fall apart, when the circumstances go against you, when the current seems to have reversed, and you interpret this as evidence that the selection was withdrawn, or that it was never real, or that you did something to lose it. This oscillation is not a spiritual problem. It is a structural problem. It is the inevitable consequence of trying to find stability at the surface level of an idea whose actual foundation is several layers deeper. You cannot find stable ground at the surface of the chosen narrative because the surface of the chosen narrative is not where the ground is. The ground is deeper, and you cannot reach it by interpreting surface-level events more favorably. You can only reach it by going to the layer where the events are being generated. Here is what I mean. The physicist David Bohm, one of the most original thinkers in 20th century physics, proposed a model of reality that he called the implicate order and the explicate order. The explicate order is what we see, the surface world of separate, definite, located things and events. The implicate order is what is beneath it, a deeper level of reality in which everything is enfolded into everything else, in which the apparent separateness of the explicate order is a surface expression of a deeper non-separation. Bohm was not a mystic. He was a physicist, trained by Einstein, who followed the mathematics of quantum mechanics to their logical conclusion and found that they pointed toward a model of reality that had a surface and a depth, and that the surface was derived from the depth, not the other way around. The implicate order is not a spiritual concept. It is Bohm's attempt to describe, in the language of physics, what the mathematics of quantum mechanics seems to require. A level of reality beneath the surface of events in which the events are not yet separate, in which the outcomes are not yet definite, in which the whole is enfolded in each part. Bohm used a specific image to make the implicate order concrete, and it is worth staying with because it is precise rather than merely evocative. He described a device in which a drop of ink is placed into a cylinder of viscous fluid. When the outer cylinder is rotated slowly, the ink drop is drawn out into an invisible thread dispersed through the fluid. The ink appears to have vanished, but when the cylinder is rotated back in the opposite direction, the ink thread refolds, and the drop reappears. The ink was not destroyed. It was enfolded. Its order was implicate, hidden within the structure of the fluid, and the rotation of the cylinder was the process by which the implicate became explicate again. Bohm's point was that what quantum mechanics is revealing about the behavior of particles might be best understood through this kind of model. The apparent particle, with its definite location and momentum, is the explicate expression of something that is, at a deeper level, enfolded into the whole. The wave function is the implicate description, the description of the order as it exists before it unfolds into a particular definite form. And the collapse of the wave function, the resolution of superposition into a specific actuality, is the process of unfolding. the implicate becoming explicate through the contact event of measurement. Now bring this to the chosen narrative one more time, because this is where we reach the deepest layer. If the explicate order, the surface world of events, is derived from the implicate order, the deeper level of enfolded wholeness, then the events of your life, including the events you interpret as evidence of selection or rejection, are surface expressions of something happening at the implicate level. And the implicate level is not a level at which selection and rejection as you understand them at the surface level exist. At the implicate level, there is no chooser and chosen. There is the whole, enfolding and unfolding, expressing and refolding, in a continuous process that has no external agent and no objects of selection. The chosen narrative, at its deepest layer, is not about being selected at all. It is about being an expression of the whole, a specific, irreplaceable, non-repeatable expression of the implicate order in the explicate world, not chosen in the sense of selected from alternatives, chosen in the sense of being the specific form through which the whole has unfolded into this particular expression. This is the deepest layer, and it is also, when you reach it, the most practically useful one. Because when you understand yourself as a specific unfolding of the implicate order rather than as an object of selection, the oscillation stops. Not because you have convinced yourself that you are always selected, but because the category of selected and not selected no longer applies at the level you are now operating from. The implicate order does not select some of its expressions and reject others. It unfolds through all of them. What varies is not whether you are an expression of it, because you always are, but the depth of contact you are making with the level at which you are an expression of it. The moments that feel like grace, like alignment, like being in the current of something larger, are not the moments when the selection is confirmed. They are the moments when your awareness has gone deep enough to make contact with the implicate level, and in that contact, the surface level story of separation and selection becomes temporarily transparent, and what you experience is the reality beneath it. The non-separation, the enfolding, the specific precision of this particular unfolding. And the moments that feel like rejection, like being outside the current, like the grace has been withdrawn, are not the moments when the selection is revoked. They are the moments when your awareness has retreated to the surface level, when the surface story of separation and selection has reasserted itself, when the contact with the deeper layer has been lost. The practice, then, is not to maintain the surface story more confidently. The practice is to deepen the contact, to go back, again and again, to the layer beneath the surface of your own experience, to the layer where the implicate order is still enfolded, where possibility is still open, where the specific unfolding that is your life is still in process rather than fixed and finished. Let me give you a specific way to work with this. There is a moment in every day when the surface story of your life is most insistent. It is usually the moment when something has not gone the way you wanted it to go, when the evidence seems to be pointing toward the surface interpretation of rejection, of being outside the selection, of the current having reversed. This moment is not a moment of spiritual failure. It is a moment of opportunity. It is the moment when the surface story is most visible as a surface story, because it is pressing against something that doesn't fit it. In that moment, instead of trying to reinterpret the surface evidence more favorably, instead of trying to find a way to make the surface story work again, try this. Go beneath the event. Not in the sense of finding a hidden meaning in it, not in the sense of spiritually reframing it, but in the literal sense of asking, what is this event the surface expression of? What is happening at the level beneath this event that the event is the outermost expression of? This is not a rhetorical question. It is a genuine inquiry. And when you hold it as a genuine inquiry rather than a rhetorical move, something happens. The event, which seemed solid and final and definitive at the surface level, becomes transparent. You can begin to see through it to the process beneath it. And the process beneath it is never the simple story of selection and rejection that the surface level presents. It is always more complex, more layered, more alive with possibility than the surface story allows. This is the practice of contact. And it is, in the most precise sense of the words, the practice of going beneath the surface of your own life to the layer where the real work is occurring. Now I want to come back to something we touched earlier, because there is a specific piece of the ancient wisdom layer that I haven't fully shown you, and it belongs here at this depth. In the Gospel of Thomas, one of the earliest Christian texts, discovered in 1945 at Nag Hammadi in Egypt and dated by scholars to possibly the 1st century, there is a saying attributed to Jesus that does not appear in the canonical Gospels. It says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." This is not a surface-level teaching about self-expression or authenticity in the modern sense. When you go beneath the surface of this text, into the context of the tradition it comes from, what it is describing is precisely the mechanism we have been uncovering. What is within you, in the context of this tradition, is not your personality or your desires or your potential in the conventional sense. What is within you is the implicate layer, the depth, the layer of your awareness that is in contact with the field of possibility, that is the instrument through which the infinite becomes the particular. What is within you is the capacity for contact with the layer beneath the surface. And what the saying is describing is the consequence of the depth of contact you make with that layer. If you bring it forth, if you go to that depth and allow what is there to express through you into the explicate world, then what you bring forth will save you, will resolve the oscillation, will give you the stable ground that the surface level cannot provide. If you do not bring it forth, if you stay at the surface, if you accept the surface story of selection and rejection as the whole truth, then what you do not bring forth will destroy you, not in a dramatic sense, but in the precise sense of the surface level oscillation grinding you down over time, the exhaustion of perpetual audition, the erosion of a life lived in supplication to an external chooser that does not exist at the level where the real mechanism operates. This is the hidden layer of the chosen narrative in one of the oldest Christian texts. And it maps precisely onto what quantum mechanics found beneath matter, onto what Bohm described as the implicate order, onto what the Kabbalistic tradition calls Bechira, onto what the Vedantic tradition calls the Sakshi. The convergence is not coincidence. These traditions were mapping the same layer from different directions, with different instruments, using different language. And the layer they were mapping is real. It is the layer beneath the surface of your own experience. It is the layer that quantum mechanics confirmed exists beneath the surface of matter. It is the layer that the chosen narrative, in its deepest form, is pointing toward. You are not the object of an external selection. You are the specific unfolding of the implicate order into the explicate world. You are the awareness through which possibility becomes actuality. You are the contact point between the infinite and the particular. And the degree to which you experience yourself as chosen, as graced, as aligned with something larger, is precisely the degree to which you are making contact with the layer of yourself that is that contact point. This is the crack in the surface of reality that the title promised you. And it is not a crack in the sense of a flaw or a failure. It is a crack in the sense of an opening. A place where the surface has become thin enough that the layer beneath it is visible. A place where the veil has become transparent. Let me show you one more thing before we go to the integration. There is a specific consequence of the surface-level chosen narrative that almost no one talks about, and it is one of the most practically damaging consequences of living at the surface of this idea. It is what I would call the chosen versus unchosen binary, and it operates in most people's lives as a completely invisible framework. The surface-level chosen narrative does not just tell you a story about yourself, it tells you a story about everyone else. If some people are chosen, then some people are not. If selection is the mechanism, then the world divides into the selected and the passed over. And this binary, which operates below the level of conscious belief in most people, generates a specific relationship with other human beings that is fundamentally competitive, fundamentally comparative, and fundamentally at odds with what quantum mechanics and the ancient traditions both found at the layer beneath the surface. The non-locality that Bell's theorem proved, the implicate order that Bohm described, the non-dual awareness that Advaita Vedanta points toward, all of these converge on the same hidden layer. The apparent separation between you and other human beings is a surface story. At the level where the real mechanism operates, there is no separation. There is the whole, expressing through multiple apertures simultaneously, each aperture specific and irreplaceable, none of them in competition with the others for a limited supply of selection. The chosen versus unchosen binary is a surface-level story that only makes sense if you accept the surface-level model of reality, separate beings, external chooser, limited selection. When you go beneath that model to the layer that quantum mechanics and the ancient traditions both found, the binary dissolves, not because everyone is equally chosen in some feel-good sense, but because the category of chosen and unchosen, as the surface story uses it, does not exist at the level where the real mechanism operates. What exists at that level is something more precise and more interesting. Each specific expression of the implicate order, each specific unfolding of the whole into a particular form, is doing something that no other expression is doing. Not because it was selected for this role by an external agent, but because it is the specific configuration of awareness and circumstance and contact that it is. Your specific unfolding is not in competition with anyone else's specific unfolding. It is not trying to be selected over theirs. It is doing the specific thing that only this particular configuration can do, which is to be the contact point between the infinite and the particular in exactly this way, in exactly this moment. This is what the ancient traditions meant by vocation, by calling, by the particular gift that each person carries. Not a special talent that was selected from above, a specific depth of contact that only this particular configuration of awareness can make. And the work of a human life in this framework is not to prove yourself worthy of selection. It is to go deep enough into the layer beneath your surface self to find the specific contact that only you can make and to bring it forth. Because what you do not bring forth will, in the most precise sense, destroy the possibility of that specific contact being made. Not because you will be punished for not making it, but because you are the only configuration of awareness that can make it. And if you stay at the surface, if you spend your life performing the qualities that the surface level chooser seems to value, the specific contact that only you can make will remain unmade. The specific unfolding that only you can express will remain folded. The specific layer of reality that only this particular awareness can reveal will remain covered. This is the weight of the chosen narrative when you carry it all the way to the bottom. Not the weight of being special, the weight of being specific, the weight of being the only configuration that can make this contact, and the responsibility that comes with that. And here is something that follows directly from this, something that the surface level chosen narrative actively prevents you from seeing. If every specific configuration of awareness is doing something that no other configuration can do, then the person next to you, the one the surface story would cast as your competition for selection, is not your competition at all. They are doing something you cannot do. They are making a contact that only their specific configuration can make. And if they stay at the surface, if they spend their life performing worthiness for an external judge, the specific contact that only they can make will also remain unmade. The implicate order will have one fewer aperture through which to express itself into the explicate world. This is the hidden cost of the surface level chosen narrative at the collective level. It is not just that it exhausts individuals with the performance of worthiness. It is that it keeps the specific, irreplaceable contacts that each individual configuration of awareness can make from being made. It folds what could be unfolded. It keeps covered what could be revealed. It generates a world in which people are performing for an external judge, rather than going deep enough to find the specific contact that only they can make. The ancient traditions understood this cost. The Kabbalistic concept of tikkun olam, often translated as repair of the world, is precisely about this. The world is not repaired by some people being selected and others being passed over. The world is repaired by each specific configuration of awareness going deep enough to make the contact that only it can make, and bringing forth what is within it. The repair is not accomplished by the chosen few. It is accomplished by the depth of contact that each specific configuration achieves with the layer beneath its own surface. This is the political and relational consequence of the deeper layer, not just a personal transformation in how you understand your own life, a transformation in how you understand the function of every other human life around you, not as competition, not as evidence for or against your own selection, as other specific configurations of the same implicate order, each one capable of a contact that no other configuration can make, each one carrying an unfolding that the whole requires. Let's come toward the integration now. Because we have gone through several layers, and I want to make sure you can carry what we've found back to the surface with you. We started at the surface version of chosen, an external agent, a selection, an object of that selection, a story about being picked or passed over. We identified the structure of that surface story and the consequences of living from it. The oscillation, the audition, the exhaustion of perpetual supplication, and the loss of the present moment as a site of contact. We went beneath it to the quantum layer, the wave function, superposition, the interference pattern as physical proof that superposition is real and not merely a description of ignorance, the collapse of possibility into actuality through the interaction of an observing system with the quantum field. The measurement problem. The consciousness causes collapse interpretation. Bell's theorem and the non-locality of reality. Bohm's implicate and explicate orders, and the ink and fluid image that makes the implicate order concrete. What quantum mechanics found beneath the surface of matter? Not solid, separate things, but a non-local field of possibility that resolves into the appearance of solidity through interaction with observing systems. We went beneath that to the ancient layer. The Kabbalistic concept of Bechira and the Tzimtzum, the contraction of the infinite to create space for the particular, and the human being as the instrument of that contraction, not its object. The Vedantic concept of the Sakshi, the witnessing awareness that is prior to the content of experience, within which the chosen and the unchosen arise as contents rather than as the awareness itself. The Sufi concept of fana and baka, the dissolution of the surface-level identification with separation and the abiding of the particular person now understood as an expression of the whole, the Gospel of Thomas, and the teaching about bringing forth what is within. We went through the parable of Mira and the layered city, the surface archivist who discovered the mechanism beneath the surface records and was transformed not by abandoning the surface, but by understanding what the surface was, the outermost expression of. We did the practice of contact, the perception shift from surface-level observation to depth-level contact with the layer beneath the apparent solidity of ordinary things. We identified the chosen versus unchosen binary as a surface story that generates competition, where the deeper layer reveals only specific, irreplaceable, non-competing configurations of awareness. And we followed that to the collective consequence. Tikkun Olam, The repair that happens not through the selection of a few, but through the depth of contact that each specific configuration achieves. And we reach the deepest layer we found today. You are not the object of an external selection. You are the specific unfolding of the implicate order into the explicate world. You are the awareness through which possibility becomes actuality. You are the contact point between the infinite and the particular, in a configuration that has never existed before and will never exist again. And the degree to which you experience yourself as chosen is the degree to which you are making contact with the layer of yourself that is that contact point. This is the integration principle for today. Write it somewhere, not as an affirmation, as a navigation tool. The question is not, am I chosen? The question is, how deep is my contact? Not, did something external select me? But, am I making contact with the layer of myself that is the instrument of resolution, the aperture of the implicate order, the specific configuration of awareness that can make this contact and no other? Not, what do I need to do to be worthy? But, what is the specific unfolding that only I can express? And am I going deep enough to find it? These are different questions. They live at a different layer, and they generate a different kind of life. Not a life organized around the performance of worthiness for an external judge. A life organized around the deepening of contact with the layer beneath the surface of your own experience, where the real work of resolution is occurring, where the specific unfolding that only you can express is either being brought forth or remaining folded. This is the hidden layer of reality that the chosen narrative has always been pointing toward. Not the story of selection, the practice of contact, not the identity of the chosen one, the function of the contact point. And here is the final thing I want to leave you with. The crack in the surface of reality that the title promised you is not a crack that appeared today. It has always been there. The surface of the chosen narrative has always been thin. The layer beneath it has always been pressing up against it. The moments in your life when the surface story felt insufficient, when the oscillation between chosen and unchosen felt exhausting, when the performance of worthiness felt hollow, those moments were not failures of faith. They were the pressure of the deeper layer making itself felt. They were the crack appearing. They were the veil becoming thin. You have been feeling this crack for longer than you know. The feeling that the surface version of your own life is not the whole truth of it. The feeling that there is a layer beneath the story you've been telling about yourself that contains something more real and more specific than the story allows. The feeling that the thing you've been calling your destiny has a mechanism beneath it that the surface explanation of destiny cannot account for. That feeling was accurate. That feeling was the implicate order pressing against the surface of the explicate story. That feeling was the witnessing awareness behind the surface self becoming perceptible. That feeling was quantum mechanics, in the most literal sense, operating at the level of your own experience. And now, you have a name for it. You have a map of the layers. You have a practice for going beneath the surface. You have the convergent testimony of quantum physics and multiple ancient wisdom traditions, pointing at the same hidden layer from different directions. The surface of the chosen narrative has cracked open. What is visible through the crack is not a more flattering story about yourself. It is a more accurate one, a more specific one, a more demanding and more liberating one. You are not chosen in the sense of being selected from outside. You are chosen in the sense of being the specific, irreplaceable, non-repeatable configuration of awareness through which the implicate order is unfolding into this particular expression of the explicate world. You are the contact point. You are the instrument of resolution. You are the place where the field of possibility becomes actual, specific, and real. And the only question that matters at the layer we have reached today is this: how deep are you willing to go? Because the depth is there. The layer beneath the surface is there. The field of possibility beneath the definite world is there. The implicate order beneath the explicate story is there. The witnessing awareness beneath the surface self is there. It has always been there. It will always be there. The veil between you and it is not a barrier, it is a membrane, and it dissolves the moment your awareness goes deep enough to make contact with what is on the other side. You have been making contact with it today. You have been going beneath the surface of the chosen narrative and finding the layer that was always beneath it, the layer that the surface story was always the outermost expression of. And what you found there was not a more comfortable story. It was a more real one, a more precise one, a more alive one. If there is someone in your life who has been pressing against the surface of their own story, who has sensed the crack but hasn't had language for what's beneath it, send them this. What you're giving them isn't a video, it's access to a layer they were already reaching for. And the moment two awareness fields make contact at this depth, the veil thins for both. This is also worth returning to. In a quiet morning before the surface noise builds, or in the last moments before sleep when the deeper layers are closest, come back and let it go further in. The surface of reality has cracked open, not because something dramatic happened, because you went deep enough to see what was always beneath it. What has been revealed cannot be re-hidden. The layer you have reached today does not go back beneath the surface just because the video ends. It stays where you found it, available for contact, available for the deepening of the practice, available for the specific unfolding that only you can express. Take what you found today into the ordinary moments, into the moments when the surface story reasserts itself, into the moments when the oscillation starts again, into the moments when the performance of worthiness feels most exhausting. In those moments, go beneath, not with effort, with contact, with the simple, direct, practiced movement of awareness from the surface level to the layer that is always already beneath it. That is the practice. That is the path. That is what the chosen narrative has always been pointing toward. Beneath all the layers of surface interpretation that accumulated over it. You are the contact point. Go deep. Something in you already knows what this feels like. Something in you has always known there was a layer beneath the surface of the story you were told. Something in you has been pressing against the thin surface of the chosen narrative for years, feeling the crack, waiting for the moment when the veil became thin enough to see through. That moment is now, and it was always going to be now, because this is the specific unfolding that only this configuration of awareness, yours, in this moment, could have made contact with. The crack is open, the layer is visible, the contact has been made. What you do with it is the specific unfolding that only you can bring forth. Don't leave it folded.